Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan. Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan. Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan. Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan. Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan. Hosted by Dan. Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of the CEO Show, where we always bring you amazing stories from the frontliners in the business industry. People who are going to share their stories, their ups and downs, and where they are, and definitely about their journey. It's always very inspirational, very informative, and very insightful. I'm your host, Dan. And today's guest she's a guest that embodies a lot of courage. Talk of women in business. Our guest tonight is none other but Miss Viola Maina, who is the CEO of Gooseberries Delight Limited. And talking about her, definitely you want to know about her. And this is a show that is going to bring you a journey of greatness, a journey of being bold and choosing to step into another venture. Talk of her, you talk about somebody who was in one of the leading media industries, but after 17 years, she chose to step out into a different entity. Talk of passion, I don't know. Talk of courage, let's talk about it. Mrs. Viola Maina, karibu. People are looking forward to hear from you, the CEO herself. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Dan.
Yes.
I'm happy to be here at the show, and I'm happy to also talk about myself.
Okay.
So,
In a nutshell, who is Viola Maina?
okay, I think briefly just to talk about myself, just my small background is I'm just born in Kenya here, of course, raised in Eldoret, was born in Eldoret many years ago. Raised a family of, we're a family of 5. I'm the firstborn, and we just lived a very simple life. We're very simple people. Most of the time I spend my time at the farm, most of the time, because that's where my mom stayed, but my dad was working, so we were always in town, in different towns. But I can say mainly I spend a lot of time in Nakuru and Nairobi. That's where my life began, and that's where I'm more like a town girl, but of course a lot of villageness, of course, in where I come from. So I've had two lives of being in town and also being in the farm. And what's inspiring about the farm is there's a lot of love. There's so much out there in the farm, and there's peace. So that's one thing that I've always loved and I've always enjoyed. Even whenever I go to farms in Shags, when we're on holiday, I would always go to the village. So that's me in terms of just a small background for us. But I went to school in Nakuru, made it all the way to the University of Nairobi, graduated many years ago, 1993. So those are very many years ago, yes. I was lucky to have gotten a chance to go to South Africa.
In the university, what did you study?
I studied political science and geography. So those are totally two different subjects that I also didn't quite understand why I was studying all that, but I think I was just trying to find myself. But within me, there was always this thing of I should have done commerce or something like that. But I was not lucky enough to join those kind of courses, but I just had to do Bachelor of Arts, very simple subjects. But I was also lucky to have gone to Cape Town University and did environmental science. So I have a mixed background of environmental science, political science, and geography. But all in all, whatever I studied has built me to where I am today. It's also given me a lot of experience, and that's basically about me in short. But other than that, I'm a single mother of two twins who are now adults and working. So I'm now a free bird. I'm now back to the village to try and achieve dreams that I've always wanted, dreams that we've always grown. Other than that, it's also about my family. My parents they were not business people, but my father believed in education. So my father was always this person of business. He didn't quite believe in business, but he believed in education, and that's why he really put a lot of emphasis for me and my families to really pursue our education. And we went to the limits of actually pursuing that education. But as much as you're pursuing the education, there's always that thing inside you that okay, fine, I can do education, but there's something inside me that was burning. And that thing is now out. It's now what I'm doing. It's what I love. And that's the journey that has been there. And after that, graduating, of course, coming back from South Africa, I was lucky to get into Nation Media Group. That's where I started the journey of actually working. And
that was your first employer?
Not really. I had some small jobs here and there, but my biggest employer and a place where I really spent all my time was Nation Media. So that's where I developed my career in advertising and sales, and that's where I grew even the passion and also the skills and experience in sales. So that's part of the journey of myself to the journey to the medias. I worked a lot. I worked in the media for 17 years. And yes, as much as we're working in the media, I can tell you for sure there was always something inside me. I was never feeling that satisfaction. And believe me or not, I kept on trying a lot of businesses while I was working, side hustles as they call it. So I did a lot of side hustles. And every time I tried, of course, people would tell me, Viola, you're thinking of very crazy things. Yeah, I was always this crazy person. I was thinking of crazy ideas. And I think that is me in nature. I think I'm always this person who thinks out of the box. I think of crazy ideas, and when I tell people, they think, you're crazy. And I think for me, that's what I feel I should be, that person of trying those extraordinary things that people don't want to try. So that's where a lot of my passion for entrepreneurship started. But I think I also got it through my grandmother. My grandmother was a business lady. Even at her age, she used to do business, and I used to see her running businesses and was wondering at her age, and she never went to school. So both sides, from my side of my mom, the grandfather also was a business person, so there's that element of business in us. And I think that's where that thing of business is ingrained in us, and it's inside us, and it's inside me. And I think that's what was really waiting for its time to explode, and it actually did that. And 17 years down the line, I just put myself out, and I decided happen.
You've talked something about crazy ideas and doing some things while you're working at Nation Media Group. What are these? Can you highlight just one idea or one hustle that you're doing while you're working at?
Okay, it's a very interesting thing. One day I just woke up and decided there was this idea of, and I don't know why I just gave it up, but I used to wonder, people used to come to Nation to put advertisements, and that was very many years ago. And I used to ask myself, is there a way of people not coming to these places to book ads? Why can't we have a website that people would actually log in, or an online platform where people would log in, place your placements and book? And then there was this aspect of an event organizer of funerals. I mean, everybody just thought, Viola, funerals. I said, yes, I want to start a business of managing funerals. Hey, I'm telling you, in our Kalenjin society, when we just talk about funerals, yes. So I went ahead and I told myself, you know what? I shared the story, the idea to my friend. I told him, you know what? I'm going to start a business on funerals, and I'm going to manage people's funerals. You'll not be going for meetings. You'll just be going for one meeting where everything custom made has been designed for you. You just pick a package, and then that's a package that you will actually use to actually do a very nice funeral and a very memorable funeral. So I created packages, even in the sense that there were different packages for different amount of monies. So I called the business Imagine Peace. And here I am one day, put an advert in the newspaper, looking for people to advertise and to sell their products. Yes. So I'm telling you, phone calls, I received phone calls. I was not functioning that day. So I decided, let me tell my parents, let me share this thing to my parents. I couldn't, because my father didn't believe in business. And then I also told people, and they were like, hey, Viola, you're crazy. So that's the craziest idea that I did. But along the way, I think I let it go. Because it was very difficult for me also as a single mom, raising kids and trying to imagine myself going out there to do business. And here I am with kids. I'm like, hey, no, let me just let go business. Maybe one time in life, when I'm done with taking care of kids, I can start a business. So that's why I let it go. But it was one of the most craziest ideas, and it was years even before internet came. Before even websites were really big things, even before all this social media was there. But I already visualized a scenario where I would do events without you coming for a funeral. You just log in online and have a whole, event showcased. So that's how the whole idea of that idea came, but it died slowly, and it just died and went buried. Yes.
And I'm trying to get the connection. You just graduated from Cape Town, now in environmental science.
Yes.
Then now here you are doing sales at Nation Media Group. What is the connection?
I think at that time when I came back, the environmental issues in Kenya had not been really, I was not a subject at all. There was no NEMA authority. There were all those things. There was hardly anyone actually who was engaged in environmental issues. So it was very tough for me to get a job. I think it was advanced at that particular time, and for Kenya we had not yet gone to those levels of actually implementing environmental policies and all that bit. So it was still a raw subject where nobody had done that kind of study. And why did I think I just used to think about the environment. I used to love the environment. I used to think, what else can I do that can connect me to the environment? And that's why even deciding on that subject, I was like, let me go there, study and come back. And be a pioneer in doing environmental issues. Because at that time, there were very few people who had done environmental issues. And the only job employer was UN that time. And UN were not looking for starters like us. They wanted people already who had experience. And these are people who are coming to the country to introduce new policies to help us actually put up a policy that could help Kenya now adopt it. And that's how even later, many years, NEMA came on board. But by then, I was already working for Nation, so I was not able to switch back. But I think it didn't matter at that time, because I decided already I had a family and I needed a job. So I said, any job that comes, I'll just take it. So that's why I ended up taking that job of sales in Nation, and it was a freelancing job. So I didn't really mind going to start a new career, a new space, different. But I was hopeful that it would take me a short while to be there and get out and move out and go and pursue my career. Yes, but it didn't happen. Yes.
What can you say about sales?
Sales is
as a career.
I hated sales the first time, but as I entered, they just make you do things that it's like you just learn on the job. So sales is hard, but as you master the game, it becomes easier. I think by the 5th year, I was already a pro. And I was a professional in selling. I could sell anything literally, because I think the background and the management team that was there also really pushed us to sell. So sales was just about numbers. Every month was a new month with numbers. So you really had to perform yourself and ensure that you've achieved those targets. But all that built me into what I am today. And I'm happy that even part of what I've learned in terms of sales is what is now helping me to actually jumpstart businesses and to run my business at the moment.
Okay.
Yes.
17 years later.
Yes.
After getting into Nation Media
Yes.
Media Group, 17 years later, you are thinking about resigning.
Hey, that was the toughest time, and I think it's one of those years that I'll always remember. It was sad. First of all, saying bye, it was the hardest, and I knew that time had come, and I would come back home to tell my parents, I'm thinking of resigning. You just don't resign. You have to also start telling people quietly under the table that you are resigning, because my father, of course, believed there was nothing like resigning. You had to work there until you retire. He had worked until 65. So I was telling my father, I don't think I'm going to actually endure this pressure until 65. So I think for me, before I cross to 50, I need to just find another job or just find something else. But getting employed by someone else was like a no-go zone for me. So I said, I have to go and find something that is going to really help me also connect to my community back at home. Because being raised, rather spending a lot of time in the villages also, you connect a lot with so many people and you see the challenges they're going through and you're like, really, you can't help these people in a way. So that thing of trying to help was also in me somehow. I'm always this person who likes helping people. So I knew if I'm leaving, it has to be something that is going to help others.
Okay.
Yes, so it was not, it's going to help me. No, it was actually something that would go out there and it would help others and it would empower others and make other people have a better livelihood or a better lifestyle or a better life. So I knew there was something to that, but I didn't quite visualize. But that day came, and it was the hardest, and that's a story for another time because it took me almost 2 years to actually pen off my last signature of saying I've left.
Because I was to get to that question, Viola. Somebody talked about the moment you choose to resign, some people do like 10 letters before resignation. How many letters did you do?
I am telling you, today I still have about 15. I did 15. And I remember every morning I would wake up with a letter of resignation, then the first thing I would go and see my boss. So to resign, I had to wake up in the morning. I used to arrive there at around 6 o'clock. I'm there in the morning going to see my boss. When I enter that room, I know I'm going to resign. But when I enter that room, I can't even tell my boss I'm resigning. So I just start talking other things and eventually I just carry my letter and go back. I did that in and out for almost 6 months. A year ended. And then people told me, we are tired of you telling us you're resigning. When are you ever resigning? I told them, I'm resigning. Next year I'm resigning. So that thing started from 2015. But it went on adding, making me just feel like that time is coming. And every time I told myself by December I should be out. But by 2017, I just told myself, you know what? I'm not going to do guesswork anymore. So what I did, I opened my laptop and changed the password and put 31st December 2017.
That was the password?
That was my password, and I knew that was the last day that I'm leaving Nation. So there was no to be about it, so I had to give out my 3 months notice. So I backdated, and I one day woke up in the morning. I think I was there at 7 in the morning, no, around 6:30. Went to the boss, got the courage, just told my boss, I'm leaving Nation. I mean, it was the hardest part, but I made it, and I decided that was it. And I was told, no, go take a leave, go and think about it. I said, no more think about it. I've taken enough leaves. There is no more story of going back.
What was your position at that
I'm
point?
I'm the senior sales.
Senior sales. That means definitely you were earning good.
Yeah, we're making a lot of money. I'm telling you, even people used to ask me, why you're the one who's handling the most money. And I remember I was also one of the best salespeople. I had even won a car, being the best salesperson in the nation sometimes back. And I had the biggest clients, and these are clients who used to spend millions. And I'm telling you, people are telling me, how can you leave your clients? So it was not about money anymore. It had reached a point where even if you give me how much money, I still felt in the morning that I had to just look for something else.
What was the push?
I think there's something just inside you that just, when you have all the money, but there's no happiness. So I always still believe that even if you have all the money, there's still that bit, there's still a gap. So I had enjoyed a good life. I had everything. There's nothing I didn't enjoy. So I really had a nice time. I had all the money. But I'm telling you, every morning when you wake up, it's a sales job, a new month. It's just, you feel like, no, you can't take it. So I think also age was catching up. So there are some things that you can't do at certain age. Yeah. So I told myself, I cannot push it anymore. So I just had to say, I told myself, let me go and suffer. I know it's going to be a tough time. It's going to be hard. You know, you've been used to salaries, you've been used to huge monies. But I told myself, Viola, you know, just let go. Yeah, it was the hardest. My parents didn't believe it. It took me almost 2 months before I could actually confide to my father that I've quit. I didn't tell him. I just quit first and then went and told him. Because if I had done the opposite, definitely I would never have resigned.
Okay, now, because a lot of people will always have an issue with people around them, telling them that I'm resigning, and especially that you are holding a very good position, lucrative position for that matter. How do you prepare people and also people close to you that indeed this is what I'm doing? How was the preparation?
The preparation.
Both psychologically.
Okay, I think the only thing that I came to realize is don't use your close friends to quit a job. For sure you'll never quit. Because they'll just discourage you and tell you all sorts of things. Not because they want you to leave. I mean, they're also scared. I think at that point we were all scared. Everybody is scared. So there's that bit of how will you pay your loans? They bring all those negativity to a point that you even feel like you're not ready to leave. But what I did, and I met a friend who told me, for you to leave, get a totally new friends who don't work with you, because half of the time my friends were just talking about our jobs. So I had to get a totally new people. So I switched on and joined another group of people who are doing health conscious activities. So I switched and I started going around with them, and we used to spend a lot of time doing weight losses, doing what. So it was a total different crowd, yes. And majority of them were business people. So I used to listen to them and admire how they are doing. And they would tell us their stories of how it all started and how it all, you know, and I think that's where the inspiration comes from. So when you're leaving a job or you want to start a business or want to just get a new set of friends, that's my advice, is get a new set of friends who are thinking differently, not how your friends are thinking, because your friends know you too much. So for me, I had to get a new set of friends. These are totally new people who don't even know about my background, who know nothing about me. They just know I work for Nation. And every time in the evening, I would spend time going to, and all my weekends, I now started spending time with them.
Okay. And then now, somebody said that whenever you're leaving a job, it means that you're going to get something better, especially when talk about now finances. What did you have in mind? What were you going to do next? Talk about now the first day, no job.
I remember that day I slept. And what I did after resigning, I went to Mombasa. I knew I wanted to be called when I'm somewhere in the ocean, to be told we have accepted your resignation. So I didn't want it to find me at home. So I took my kids, I went for holiday. So in Mombasa, when I got the call, I'm telling you that day, I took all the wines and I could not get drunk. So I was scared, I was dead, I think I was half dead. And then they told me, we can't give you your salary, your last salary. I'm like, what? I already planned for it. I didn't see that coming. So I told me, no, until you clear. And you know, clearing will take time. I see people clearing even after 1 year, 6 years. It depends on the processes and all those things that were there. So I knew I would not have income again. I just went into a depression. Now, I can say for sure I went into a depression. Immediately after that, I just allowed my kids to come back. Then I remained myself there, alone.
It is a you resigned voluntarily.
Yes, so the voluntary thing.
You're into depression.
So I went into depression because the shock of just being told that is your last salary, you can't get your last salary. So I knew that would put me in place, in planning for maybe another 3-6 months before I can think of what to do. So when you're being told now your money has been chopped, you're not, they didn't chop it, they just told you we're not giving your salaries until you clear. So I was wondering so where do I start? So how do I even start? Where do I start? You know, I was not going to look for a job. I said I'm not looking for a job. So how will I survive between now and the next 3 or 4 months? So that's where I think put me into a depression. And it taught me something that if you're resigning before you resign, I think it's good to save money, save enough money. Don't rely on that salary. I think for us,
you relied for the last month's salary.
Last month's salary. All my plans were on that last month because it was a huge check that was coming. So I knew it would take me for 6 months, and it didn't happen. And
now,
that was it.
Just paint a picture. Now you're depending on this last paycheck. But what next? Other than this money, what next?
Around that time now is when I started wondering, so what do I do next? Because even I remember my boss asking me, so what are you going to do? I said, I'm just going to try many things. So he asked me, what exactly? Then he told me, okay, fine. What you can do, if it's too difficult, you can come back. So I had an option of still going back, but now on different terms, probably as an agent. So I had that option of going into finance. So I said, if I start signing myself as an agent, that means I'm still going to be back there. So I knew, no, I had to find something new. So that's when now I went out and finished with Mombasa, came back, now well set, decided to go to the farm. So I came back to Eldoret. That's where one day in the streets, I met a friend of mine called Benedict. She's the CEO of Smart Farmer. So I told her I've quit my job. She told me, come and start working for us. Because she had also wanted really, for a long time, I go help her work. So I told her, fine, go to the office, told me somewhere in Elgonview. We went there. 2 days later, we're having a board meeting. We're already strategizing. Yes, and I think she helped me to cross. She actually helped me now to calm my nerves and to calm my plans and everything. So I was not even now thinking again. So I became a bit sober and a bit easy now, able to manage things better. I was now more sober. I was now okay. I was feeling now relaxed. The pressure has gone down. So I was fine. So I worked with her for.
When you were coming to Eldoret, you didn't know what you were coming to do?
Nothing. I had nothing. There was no plans or nothing.
Okay.
Yes.
Now you've met this friend of yours. What does she do?
Yeah, she runs a magazine. So she tells me, okay, fine, Viola, come on board, come and help us. So I told her, okay, I'm not coming to work, but I'm just coming to assist with ideas and consultancy and all that bit. So she believes also in a lot of the ideas that I had shared with her previously. So I told her, in fact, we can execute those ideas. So that's how we connected well with Benedict, because Benedict is a person also who loves her magazine, and she's very passionate. So her passion also, I was seeing her like, yeah, this is the person I would want to work. But I also wanted to learn from her, because working from a media house where all systems are set, here is a person who is also starting. She was also at that point also trying to put up a company. So it gave me an opportunity to make decisions, to try ideas. So all the ideas that I was trying was being tried from there. And we would work with her and do events. So our first idea was to do events, and that's where I picked a lot of knowledge also in terms of events. And I worked with her, and we did a very big event, Nairobi, the East African Digital Farmers, and I was part of the team. I remember we never slept. That was my first time to do a big event in that magnitude. So it showed me that I can do anything. That was the turning point. I said, if I can do an event like this one, that means there's nothing I can't do. Yeah. So it also gave me the confidence that I can do anything. Yes. So
at that point you came now into event planning.
Yes. And I said I can actually do events. So I realized, you see, I can now. I thought now about my other event of funerals. I knew now I can connect the two, but I didn't want to go that direction. I already connected with the farmers, and I was like loving what I was doing, talking to the farmers. I was like, this is where I need to discover something out of here. But I didn't know what I was going to do. Yeah, but
so that is the platform that gave you the interaction with the farmers.
With the farmers, yes, a lot. I used to travel a lot. I was all over with farms doing interviews. I was always being tagged along to go for the interviews. I was always there. Now I didn't miss an interview. I would always make sure I'm in all those interviews.
For the sake of the
magazine. For the sake of just magazine. Not even that. I had the passion of just going to listen to people's stories. So those stories were really inspiring of people who've just gone into farming and their successes and their challenges. So I realized farming is where there was that connection already. So I spend a lot of my time with Benedict and farmers and interviews. So that's where a lot of my passion of farming also started picking up.
And considering that you grew in the farm at some point.
Yeah, and then I was always wondering, we were always doing maize. So even when we used to go to Kiambu, people are doing strawberries. We are doing avocados, people are doing very, very small things, and having a lot of money. So I used to hey, you guys, you have a very small land. Us guys, we have chunks and chunks of land, and we're not even making that kind of money. So it was very inspiring to just see people with small land making 300,000, 100,000. And whatever they're doing is just very simple things that me and you can do. So I was wondering, why is it that we can't do it in Eldoret? And why are people not doing this kind of thing? So even Benedict used to tell me, even her, she's always wondered why people in our villages don't do this kind of farming activities. So I just told her, maybe it's just a way we were brought up. We were brought up knowing it was only maize and wheat. So we didn't quite try other products. And that's where at least I saw that opportunity. And I think I said, I think I would want to actually in future venture into agriculture. But I didn't know at that point what sector, what to venture into.
Okay.
Yes.
So from those stories, that's what gave you the inspiration.
Exactly.
About what people do outside there.
True.
So you left working with the magazine?
So we had during the event, the first event we did, there was this organization called CALRO, Kenya Agricultural Research. institute organization. They were showcasing underutilized fruits and vegetables and seeds. And I was intrigued by the kind of product they had produced. They had produced ribenas using zambarau. They had guava juice. They had guava wine. They had lacquers. They were doing all these things that I knew back at home. They just grow widely, but nobody ever thought things about it. So I was intrigued, and then I just asked them, so how come Kenyans are not producing these things? They told me they don't have it in capacity, in the levels that can be used for processing. So it's still a new concept, still something new that they were trying to introduce back to communities, and seeing how communities can embrace these technologies and this kind of cash crops that they had done a lot of research on. What was very amazing is that they had spent millions of shillings actually researching on these underutilized fruits. And I looked at the gooseberry and I was like, this is something I used to see in the village. But
that is when now you came out.
Yes, I saw it there. And I told them, hey, even gooseberry, said, yeah, it's doing a jam. They had done a cake. I tasted the cake. I was impressed. I was like, wow. I mean, this thing can do all this. In Nairobi. Nairobi, yes.
Okay,
so that's why I saw all those things, and I was asking, how come Kenyans cannot even think of these kind of things? So I asked myself a lot of questions, and they were telling us the only problem is they've also tried. I asked them, have you tried to introduce this into farmers in different parts of the country? They said they have tried. They've given out free seedlings, but somehow the project has not picked up. So I was curious to know. So I told them, is anybody doing gooseberries? They said, yeah, there's somebody who's doing gooseberries in a large scale in Timau, no, in Tigoni. So they gave me the contacts. I made a trip. I went there. I was intrigued and shocked to see somebody doing almost 30 acres of gooseberry. I met this guy. It's called Stephen Manzia. So I introduced myself.
And back at home, they are
I'm not wondering, yeah. I mean, I was, it's like, it was a dream. I'm like, what? Yeah. Then he tells me there are people even in Rwanda who are doing 1,000 acres. I'm like, what? So I'm like, so what does it take? So he tells me what it takes, everything. He showed me everything. We went for trainings. And that's why I picked a lot of things from, a lot of information from him. But he had leased that land. So it was not his land. So I used to ask him, so what happens if the owner one day takes this land? He said, I'll find another way of starting. So he was also doing it because he enjoyed just doing it. But he was making a lot of money. And I told him, so can I go and start it at home and you'll help me start? He said, no problem. Go, I'll help you start. So he gave me that courage. And that's how I just woke up one day. In the morning, I just told myself, you know what, Benedict, I'm leaving. I'm going to Eldoret. She asked me to do what? I said, there's this project of gooseberries I'm going to start. So I mean, you have the capital. I said, I have no capital, but I'm just going to start. So he told me, so where will you get the technical now? I said, I've met Manzia. Manzia has agreed he's going to help me. So I'm done. Kwaheri. So I packed my things, Eldoret. So I came to Eldoret. So the next thing I told my father, I'm going to start gooseberries. My father told me, gooseberries? Bonik? I said, yeah, gooseberries. Because even at first it was like, what is gooseberries? So I showed my father the pictures and I showed them. He said, no, this amount of land. I said, somebody is doing 30 acres, Dad. So it is possible. So I told my father, we can do it in our farm. So my dad told me, hey, who has ever done it? I said, there's somebody who's doing it. So he said, no, that is that other person. Now here in Wasingishu. Has it ever been grown? I said, I'll try and find out. So Calro told me there's somebody already, they had a project in Tarbo, they're already doing. So I went to Tarbo, visited the farmers who are doing there. So there's this farmer called Mr. Lumumba. Lumumba had done 3 acres. The only thing that Lumumba said is the challenge was the market. I told him, only the market? That is all. That one I can get the market. Not that I had the market, but I knew in my head I would just get the market. So Lumumba said, fine. Come and start collecting my berries. They are ready. And that's how I started going to buy from him. And then I had no market. So I called Manzia. I told Manzia, I have some berries, they are ready. Told me, I can't take that kind of quantity unless you have volumes. I said, like what? He said, 1 ton or 2 tons. I'm like, that one I can't do. So I got that discouragement again and I said, okay, fine. I told Lumumba, I'll try and get a buyer for you, don't worry. But Lumumba kept on giving me a bit to go and sell. So he was very strict. I was just bringing to town here, hawking, like everybody was trying to hawk. So it was hard. It was just hard because he wants cash. I don't have that kind of money. So I told myself, you know what? I'm going to the village and educating my people. I'll go and start it myself.
Now, before even going to start your home, just selling gooseberries in town. How was the experience? Because I think I rarely see around.
I'm telling you, it was the hardest. The hardest because everybody knows gooseberries as a wild fruit.
Yeah.
So even the groceries that I went to, they would just look at me and tell me, hey, mama, hii haitauzika. This one haitauzika. So this would be very difficult for you to sell. Like, you know, I told him, okay, fine, let me leave it there, and then I'll come later and see whether somebody has bought. Tomorrow I'll come back and see whether somebody has bought. So I'll do the chancing of just leaving my gooseberries there. Then tomorrow I'd come back, I'll still find them there. 2 days later, it's still there.
And Lumumba was waiting for money.
I've already paid Lumumba cash. So Lumumba, there was no story, cash. So I would give him the cash, carry the gooseberries.
How costly was it?
It was a very expensive venture because I would spend almost like 3,000 to 4,000 at every station. So I didn't even have that kind of cash. So I would even beg him to allow me to go and sell, then I bring back. He would not want those stories. He would tell me, no, I've been cheated many times, just pay cash. So that's what I used to do now. I used to just do, and then I would hawk everywhere. It was the hardest job, but for me, I enjoyed it sales because it was sales, so I didn't like. But I knew one day, there would be a breakthrough. I didn't know then when that day would be, but I did that for some times, and then I realized it's not working. So I just decided to go back home and said, you know what, let me plant my own. But I decided who is going to sit in the shamba and sell, so it was not going to work. The two things cannot work. So I decided, you know what, let me sensitize farmers. So I called Calro, the lead team, Mrs. Dr. Lusike. Dr. Lusike, please get me a team of guys who are coming to help me train these farmers. I want to grow my own gooseberries in my region, in Wazingisi, where I come from, Ziwa. So she brought the team, and they were trained.
But now, before getting there, what was the motivation again? Here we don't have the market. You struggle even selling the small amount that you had from.
What was annoying is somebody is telling you pay me cash, and then there's no market. So I kept on asking myself, you know, if it was me not removing that cash, I think I would have the energy to go around, you know, even giving those people on credit to stay with them. Because I even used to tell them, but give me even like additional 40, I give out as credit. I mean, like freebies, you know, like promos, a promo, just for people to taste, to sample. But Lumumba would not agree. So why I went there, the inspection was like, you know, if I planted mine, I would have extras to give out for free, so that people can sample.
Free samples.
Yes, free samples, because I know in marketing, you have to give people free samples to taste. So that's how the drive of me having my own farm now, you know, engineered in my head, and I said, let me go and start. So we did trainings, but it was not easy for farmers to accept. It became very difficult. I just woke up one day and decided, you know what? I put a gun on my two brothers. All of you, you're going to plant for me. There's no more story about, I'm going to look for other farmers. You're the two who are going to plant for me. So luckily, they accepted. So my two brothers accepted. They all planted. One is in Kabwe, the other one is in Ziwa. So they all planted. So now I would have enough berries to go and give out for free. Yes, and they trusted me, so I didn't have issues of saying I must pay them cash. They just gave me a chance to go and try and sell. And I would, whenever I don't sell, I would go back and tell them I didn't sell, and they would be fine. Yeah, so they didn't. It was not hard. So that one also gave me the spirit now to now actually start looking for market. And one time, a friend of mine also called me and told me there are people in Nairobi who want 500 pallets. And that was where now my life began. I started now packaging and sending to Nairobi. Yes.
How costly was it? Well, how is it in terms of capital outlay?
For them, I wasn't worried because it's for my brother. So even I made them broke because half of the time I never paid. So I would deliver whatever little I'm getting. I would just use it now to do my errands of now trying to build that business. Yes. But even before then, I was also selling burgers, cabbages. I used to go to Chekorio to bring cabbages to try and get capital. You know, remember, I've come out of an employment where there's no salary. I mean, there's no more salary, so there's nothing. And there's nowhere I can get money. Nobody can give you a loan. My father cannot give you any money. My friends, nobody wants to give you money. So you are left alone.
But now here you are a single mother. You had your children were here. How are you surviving?
It was the hardest. I remember sometimes I used to sit and cry. But my kids, I always told them, it's going to be better. They cried when I was leaving. They didn't want me to leave the employment because by then they were joining the university. But I told them it's going to be fine. But good enough, the university, it wasn't that too expensive because I made them go to the just normal university so that I don't have to pay a lot of money. So it was just a question of encouraging them and telling them, don't worry, I'm at home. But my dad really played a lot of support. Whenever I got stuck, I would tell them, hey, my kids don't have this, they need this. My father would really come on board and help. So my father eased a lot of my stress at that particular time, so I was less stressed. So
But you chose now to sell mbogas.
yes, now. So I said, you know what? So I don't disturb my father. Let me start selling other things. So my father was kind enough to give me the pickup. So I started going to Chepkoria. In the morning at 4 a.m. I would wake up to go and buy cabbages, skumas, bring to Aurora market. Early in the morning at 4 a.m. I would be in the Aurora market selling with those mama bogas. And in the end of the day, by 7 o'clock, I think we made almost like 2,000, 3,000. I'm happy I made those 3,000. That's the money I would now use to go and buy panels to go and start packaging the whatever. So I also had a chance of going around the estate selling. So I also sold in Kapsoya estate, selling vegetables. And it wasn't easy, knowing that I was in a corporate world. And then here you are, wearing
How did you
another
manage the
hat.
transformation? Because out of corporate role, I'm seeing this corporate lady. Now you're selling mbogas.
I think for me it was easy. I think I'm very simple. As I said, my background is very simple. We were brought up in very simple background. So we didn't have the highs and the lows. We can survive highs and we can survive lows. So for me, transitioning was not a big deal. Yeah, so it was just a question of, Viola, hakuna pesa, you have no money, so go down, just live your basic life. So the good thing is I moved back home, so I was at home. So it didn't even cost me much. My father was always like, now you have left Nairobi, you're coming back home. I said, yes, Dad, I have to come here so that I can minimize my costs. So I can say I got a big support from my family, my parents, in particular my dad, who also would wake me up at 4 a.m. when I don't wake up and tell me, you don't go to the soko. But I knew I was using that now to raise money. So that's how I raised part of the money that I started my business.
So by doing that also, it means that you had to cut off some friends that you had in the corporate world now.
All of them.
Now you're a mama boga.
Mama, I'm telling you, everybody, I lost all my friends. I think I just found them fading off. Nobody's calling you anymore. I was a loving darling of people, but after that, people just stopped calling you. And then the people you try to ask for money, they think now you're desperately, she's just too desperately asking. So even me, I decided not to ask me for money. So I just decided, Viola, survive, find ways of how to raise your own money. So that's how I started now doing those mama boga things. And it was the simplest thing that I found easy to start because it didn't require a lot of capital. So I got myself into doing that. So I would just wear my jacket in the morning, go to Aurora, sit there, knowing very well that I have degrees that can take me back to employment. But I knew I just had to start from somewhere. Yeah.
So you are ready to walk this journey?
I think I was already set. And I knew, I used to tell myself by 60, by 50, by 60, I should retire. Not in somebody's business, in my own business. So there was always that plan also in my head that I ought to start a business that will actually succeed. So there was no way of ever going to start thinking of looking for other ways, other opportunities. My sister tried even telling me about rentals, but I'll tell my sister, no, I think let me just go into this side of just agriculture. That's only my brother who believed in agriculture. So my brother always was the supporter of, Viola, I know there's money in agriculture. And I had already seen what was happening in the central region, and I knew there was money. So there was no way out. So I was battling now between now doing this small odd job to raise money. I have a family to take care of, and then I have this other business that I'm trying to start. So the two were running until a point where I got tired going around pickups because I'm going around selling, and then at the same time I'm coming to town to sell the berries. So it was really a tough moment at that particular time. To a point I decided, let me open a grocery. So shockingly, I ran a grocery in Kapsoya. And I decided now, let's centralize everything there so that I can just bring my berries there, pack my berries and come to town and sell. So I was now selling bogas at the grocery and then coming with the berries now to town. So I stopped going to the Minyaka market, the market, and started now going hawking with my berries. So I hawked supermarkets until I also got lucky to have gotten Mboga na Kadhalika, who just gave me a very big order. And I think he also inspired me by just accepting to take the risk. So he took the risk and said, I'll buy it, bring. So
there was this order from Nairobi that came first.
Yeah, in fact,
500
in fact, the 300, the one for Mboga na Kadhalika came first, then now followed by the other one.
Okay.
But the orders for Nairobi now were really something that kept going. But when you look at the margins, there was still no margins because I was selling a panel very cheaply. I had not learned about financial, so sometimes pricing is also a problem when you're starting a business. So you don't quite understand whether you're making money or not. But what I knew for certain that there was some little money I was making, but how much I could not tell. Particularly. So here I am running the businesses, two businesses, grocery and the gooseberry. So the gooseberry was just running, growing by itself. More farmers were coming in, More and more farmers were getting interested, buying seedlings from me, because I was also selling seedlings.
Okay,
So
okay.
farmers would come. And I realized at some point I had so many farmers who already were.
So that is the point that you can now say that the market was opening up.
The market was still tight. There was still no trading market. So I can say half of the time we were losing a lot, especially within Wasingishu. Whatever I deliver, if I'm delivering 100 pallets, by 2-3 days I've lost almost. I've sold only 30 pallets. The rest was not sold. But as I told you, most of it came from my brothers. So there is not really a big strain of saying I have to pay them. But for other farmers who gave me, I would make sure I pay. Because I knew for them, this mattered most. But for me, I knew it was my brother to help me out. Yeah. So they supported me a lot, and they gave me a lot of support of not asking for money. And I always tell them, please don't ask for money. And they would understand. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we are joined with the CEO of Talk of Gooseberries Delight Limited, and she's just started on how the whole vision came into being, and we are having the conversation. Just as we go to a very short break, we'll be coming back and now talking about now the transformation from the gooseberries, talk about value addition, and now talking about the products that she's selling and also manufacturing. So we'll be back very in a while, and then we get into details of the same.
Established in 2012 through an act of Parliament. Currently, it is domiciled under the Ministry of Cooperatives and MSME Development. Every year on 27 June, UN has designated that day as an international day for the micro and small enterprises. MSEA being a key agency in Kenya dealing with the micro and small enterprises has organized a lot of exhibitions across the country. On 27th June 2024, here in Wasingishu County and in the North Rift region, we have organized an exhibition that will bring on board the NOREP counties. We are inviting all of you, the micro and small enterprises in all the sectors, manufacturing, in agribusiness, textile, carpenters, the Juakali people, service providers, innovators, to join us at Zion Mall to celebrate this day. The event brings on board over 5,000 MSCs who will provide market access to the exhibitors' products, who will appreciate the innovation and technology of your products. We see this day as a day which will bring a lot of networking and collaboration among the MSCs. There will be a panel discussion on 27 June, and a lot of issues touching on the micro and small enterprises will be discussed and ironed out. The event is jointly being organized by the Wasingishu County Government, the Micro and Small Enterprises North Rift Region, and the sector represented by the Shangwe Juakali Association. So this is a very important day for the MSCs, and we are calling upon all the players, right from the big manufacturers and all the small producers, institutions, TVET institutions, to join us to celebrate this big day. Thank you very much. May God bless you. Karibuni sana. MSEA is a state agency which was established in 2012 through an act of Parliament. Currently, it is domiciled under the Ministry of Cooperatives and MSME Development. Every year on 27 June, UN has designated that day as an international day for the micro and small enterprises. MSEA being a key agency in Kenya dealing with the micro and small enterprises has organized a lot of exhibitions across the country. On 27th June 2024, here in Wasingishu County and in the North Rift region, we have organized an exhibition that will bring on board the NOREP counties. We are inviting all of you, the micro and small enterprises in all the sectors, manufacturing, in agribusiness, textile, carpenters, the Juakali people, service providers, innovators, to join us at Zion Mall to celebrate this day. The event brings on board over 5,000 MSCs who will provide market access to the exhibitors' products, who will appreciate the innovation and technology of your products. We see this day as a day which will bring a lot of networking and collaboration among the MSCs. There will be a panel discussion on 27 June, and a lot of issues touching on the micro and small enterprises will be discussed and ironed out. The event is jointly being organized by the Uasin Gishu County Government, the Micro and Small Enterprises North Rift Region, and the sector represented by the Shangwe Juakali Association. So this is a very important day for...
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the CEO show, where tonight our guest is Miss Viola Maina, who is the CEO of Gooseberry Delight Limited. And we are receiving quite an amazing feedback from you. And always remember to comment for us to know that you are part of this conversation. And also ensure that if you have a question, please ask so that we can have our guests respond. Just to get back to some comments that we are saying here, you talk about, somebody is commenting and saying, kindly pass my greetings to Madam Viola. Tell her Jim Kelly appreciate her commitment to value addition. I'm privileged to have met and learned what committee is. Resilience and belief. Now we talk about value addition. Here you are doing gooseberries. Now you are selling as just gooseberries.
Yeah.
At what point did you choose now to convert now the gooseberries, adding value to it and coming up with these products that you are doing?
Okay.
And just to highlight what products have you do you? Yeah, sure, sure.
Fine. So like I said, now that was the journey when I was just starting the business of gooseberry. Now, COVID checked in, and I think that's where most businesses were born.
Okay.
And it also changed my business model completely, because at that particular point, I was not able now to actually sell these things to Nairobi. All the vehicles were not allowed.
Banned from traveling.
Banned from traveling. So here I am. I've recruited almost like 15 farmers. I'm getting almost like 500 kilos to a ton of fruits. You can't tell a farmer I'm not taking, because I made them believe there was an opportunity in this.
There was a market.
Yes, and there was a market. And I told them there was a market, and they already were seeing the off-taking that I was taking. So I was already off-taking from them. So when COVID came in, and I had nowhere to go. So the next thing is, how do I offload all these quantities to these other groceries? So these groceries were just taking 5, 4, 3, so they were not even helping me anyway. So I started googling, and then I remember one time early in the morning at 4 a.m. I woke up. I told myself, you know what? I'm not going to kill this business. I'm going to start thinking about value addition. So I also heard about value addition during the showground in Eldoret, March, where I met this organization called Kirdi. Kirdi had said they do trainings, and they had a branch in Eldoret. So I decided to take myself to Kirdi. They told me they closed because it was COVID. I told them I need to start thinking of how to make products. So I started Googling, and remembering my background is I'm not in manufacturing, so I don't know anything about how to make. I can make jams at home, I can make juices, but I didn't have the knowledge of actually making a product that would go into the shelf. So I got a chance, I just started posting on social media and saying, I'm looking for someone who can help me come up with ideas of how we can do gooseberry, value addition on gooseberry.
Just before that, just to enlighten our viewers, what is Kirdi all about?
Kirdi is Kenya Industrial Research Development. That's where they train people on value addition. Yeah, so they have value addition in different sectors, in food, in skincare, in innovations. They have a lot of things. So that's an institution that is, I would recommend people who want to start from scratch. That's an organization that really helped me to be where I am. They also supported me in actually creating products. So I did go to them. We did luckily later they opened up and allowed me to do the berries. But remember, all that time I'm bringing berries to Kapsoya. So we only have a very small space. So my father's car has to park. I have no place to dry these things. So they were just all over. So the house was just chaotic. I mean, it was just smelling. It was just a bad place. But I just told myself, one day doors will open. So I decided, let me dry. So I made a makeshift of a dryer. So I started drying. I Googled somewhere, and somebody from Australia sent me a design of a makeshift of a dryer of gooseberry, because I also started now looking around, asking people on social media whether they've ever done a value addition product in this. So everybody was just telling me jam. So it was only jam. So that was the only first thing that I thought about quickly. Let me do a jam. So I decided to start doing the jams. So we went to Kirdi, we did the jam, then we did the juice, we did a couple of juice and a couple of products. So we didn't have sauces by then. So I told myself, there must be another better product. So I Googled and I put my request again on Facebook. And this Kenyan responded. May not be able to mention names, but he responded and said he can be able to help me develop product. So he told me, what do you want? I said, I want a sauce. He said, where I work from, I have experience in sauces, so I can help you put up a sauce. I told him it's a gooseberry sauce. So of course he was in shock. Gooseberry sauce. I said, I want a sauce. So he told me, why sauce?
People are used to different types of sauces.
Yeah, people are used to tomato sauce and chili sauce. So here you are coming with a gooseberry sauce. So he told me, we will try. What you do? Buy this following thing. So I bought those things. Bought them, found myself in Nairobi. We started concoctioning. We concoctioned, and really it took us 2 days. We didn't sleep. We were just creating until we created a product. So when he did the 3 products, I told him, now I'm happy with this. He told me now,
just to cut you short, Viola, what is it that you had in mind? Because it means that there is something that you wanted, getting a food scientist. Now, what you're talking about a jam. What was the standard that you wanted?
The jam, I was looking for something. I was just looking for a gooseberry jam. Okay, everybody was doing gooseberry jam. So I was like, can't people think of other things? You know, I was in my head, like I told you, I'm always this person who wants to do
crazy
ideas. So I'm always like, what should I be doing? You know, jam. Yeah, it was a jam, but it would not excite anyone. Everybody knows about it. Because people have seen gooseberry jam. So I knew this one would not be exciting. And then I have a passion for cooking. So I knew I needed a product that I could use for cooking. So I told myself, let me try a sauce. So I asked the food scientist. He said the food scientist qualified. Luckily, he volunteered to help, so he didn't even charge me. He told me, no, I can see your passion, I can see your determination, I will help. Because I told him I don't have money and I have no experience. So he tried to help me out. So I took, there was a girl of mine who now is the manager. She worked with me as my maid before, but I educated her, and then she graduated. Now she's my manager. So we went with her to Nairobi for the training. But since she had a background in food, it had a course in food management, so she knew at least a bit of how to do those cookings. So we went with her, so we were trained, and 2 days later we had two amazing products: the gooseberry hot and sweet and the gooseberry chili. It wasn't to the standards, but at least there was something that I could take to KEBS for certification. So the guy assured me that this will pass. Go to Kirdi.
That is now after the 2 days of working and coming up
with something. So I come back home. I come back home. I just tell myself, now I need to go to wherever, to Kirdi. So around that time also we lost my dad. So everything went backwards again, because now I had knew my father would give me money. Because my father had told me, nikiuza shamba, there's a shamba I want to sell. If I sell, I'll give you some money. But it was that time also it was ailing. But he was already seeing something coming out. But he wasn't also believing in it at first. But he started showing some love towards it, some interest on it. Then he kept on telling me, so who will ever buy these things? I said, I will just go and sell. So my father was really supportive.
You have now the sauce.
So I have the sauces. So my dad died, we buried him, then things went backwards, we went back again. Now we went to KEBS, and then we went now to have this product certified. I think that was just the beginning of all my products now going into KEBS. I never slept. I went to KEBS. I knew KEBS, people talk about KEBS is like a world altogether, but I think for me, I was just determined. I was like, what is so hard? Let me just go. So we went, we told them we're ready, come on, invigilators. So they actually came to Kirdi. That's where I was doing the practices and doing the products. So they came, they saw, they look at everything, and then voila, one day we're just being told our products have been certified.
Okay.
Yes.
Just on the same, I think we have a lot of people who have brilliant ideas when it comes to value addition and also products. And most people fear to go through the same process. Just to paint a picture, how was the process and how do you go through it?
There was a lot of
just to the point of having your product
yeah.
being certified.
I think first there was a lot of there's a lot of stories that are said out there that can make somebody not actually go to look for those things. So people hide behind, and then they imagine it's a very expensive venture. So when I knew it's something that is too expensive. But that food scientist had also hinted to me that it's not as intricate as you might think. As long as you have the right procedures and you have a food scientist person to guide you. And since I had Kirdi, they would also help me in actually helping the whole process become simplified. So I was ready. I think for me, as I said, I'm always ready for risks and ready for challenges. So I just decided to go and try it. And then I went through the processes. I went to Kirdi. Tell me what it requires. So they told me they need this license, all those things. I said, fine. Anything else? I didn't hear them saying you need to be bribed or anything, nothing. I said, oh, okay, you don't need anything else to even fasten. No. You have to go through the system like everybody else, yes. So I gained that confidence from them, and I knew I would want to give it a try. So when I tell them gooseberries, they're also in shock. We've never been seeing these kind of things. We don't even have a code for it, but we will try and get something closer and certified against that code. So the first thing is that
was
also,
now KEBS.
Yes, they were also mesmerized to see whatever I'm coming. They were even in shock. So I think I'm venturing into a place where nobody has ever done. So it was always like, for me, it was like a shocker. What can do this? Yeah. So there was always that can do this. Can it work really? All those things. But I think I was ready for it, and I told them this is what I want to take to the market.
How's the cost implication?
They give us for 3 products 23,000. We get
Each?
3 products certified together. So I was lucky to have had the sauces, and then I had the jam, and then I had the dried.
Okay.
Yes, before the juice came later, because juice also has its own certification that has to go also through excise duty, through KRA, which is also another area where people tell you all sort of things. Nobody can be certified with juices. It is the hardest thing. So I used to hear all those things from people. So me, I told them, really? So me, I worked. I think also working in the media gave me this aspect where I can walk into any office and ask.
The confidence bit of it.
Yes, so I would just go walk there and ask them, what does it take? Give me the list. So I would go out there with a whole list of what is required. And I would go and put all those things together and bring it to them here. Start my process.
Okay.
Tell me another thing. So that's how for me it was always.
Which year was that you got the certification?
I got in 2020. Yeah, and that's the same year that I registered my company as well in 2020, October 5th.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because they needed the certifications, a certificate of incorporation, all that made me register the company. But initially, I had not registered the company. So that also led me to understand the importance of certifications and licensing and all these things. So I put my business together. And then at the same time, I was also lucky to have been selected in the cohort of KCIC, Kenya Climate Innovation Center. It's an organization that was supporting MSMEs, and I was happy to have been selected in that program. And that's where also I got into now starting understanding the business aspect of actually running a business and putting together a business plan. So they helped me a lot. It was a journey for 1 year, and there were a lot of trainings. They didn't give us funding, but they did a lot of capacity building.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And also helped to pay for my registration.
Okay.
Yeah, so they did a lot of, provided a lot of support.
Okay.
That is how the journey of now having these products come into the market.
Okay.
Coming to the market was now another science. It got to a point where I just almost broke down. I have nobody to ask for money. My brothers have no money, so nobody has money basically. So it's here you have a product certified, ready to go to the market.
Yeah.
On the other side, you don't have money. Here you are, you can actually go and sell these things, but so how will you even make this product? So you need to buy packaging, you need to buy branding, all those things. It was just
now before going into the selling bit of it, talk about now the production. Here you have a product which is certified and you are ready to get into the market. You had the machineries, you had because you understand the farming was there. Now because it takes a lot to do this.
Yeah, so ideally what helped a lot was Kirdi. Kirdi, as I said, is an institution that has all those facilities.
Okay.
So I was lucky to have been using their facility. So they had everything. So I didn't need to buy anything at that particular point.
Okay.
But it's one thing to have all those machineries, but now you need to buy your own packaging, you need to buy your own ingredients, you need to do your own branding. So all those things require a lot of money.
Okay.
So when I did the maths, I'm like, hey, this one I don't know where I'll get money from. So even going to my relatives, nobody wanted to give you money. Nobody believes first of all in your business. So it was hard. It was really that was my lowest moments actually when I almost gave up. Yeah. But farmers are still bringing for you berries. So that kept giving me the motivation. When I see the berries, I'm like, wow. Then now the berries were in excess. So one day I decided, you know what, let me go and look for a market, the markets that was just destroyed. Let me look for a space to start selling these things. I do it
as fruits.
Yes, the fruits and the products.
Oh, okay.
So I went to the
you
market
started
there,
now
yes.
packaging,
Yeah, just
branding.
kidogo too. I just went just a few packages, about 12 or 20 like that, small packs like that. So I went to the market and told them, give me space. I think that market master just told me, hey, nobody has ever come to sell this kind of things here. People sell mboga, onions, whatever. So I told him, I just want to give it a try. You never know, I might be lucky. So the guy said, hey, let me introduce you to my boss. So he took me. He took me and told me talk to the boss. So the boss, I met the boss. I tried to explain to the boss. I think the boss must have looked at me and told me, "You're crazy." Bonik, I said it. So they tested the guy tested my jam to me. It is just sugar. This is just too sugary. So the negativity started from there. So and I believed they were saying the truth. Actually, it was the truth, but I refused to believe the truth. You are being told this thing has too much sugar. You are just telling yourself, no, it is the best product in the market. So you also have to believe in your thing. No matter how bad it is, you must die with your thing. So I died with it, and it just didn't work that I didn't get the space. But one day, one of the same guy at the county, he used to work at the county, called Mr. Korir, called me one morning and told me there's an expo that is coming, bring your products. I have no products, I have nothing. You should have seen me there parading the next day with my products. I made a yogurt, I made juice, I made all that. And remember, that time, I have certificates for a few.
Not even the juices.
Not even the juices, but I had to make that day everything. That was the turning point now. That is where all the doors began to open. Because that was the time when the CEO of Safaricom came and Mandago, the Mheshimiwa Mandago, was also parading and going through the MSME stands. And the essence of the event was to select the 15 MSMEs that would go to Tanzania to represent Kenya in the East African Conference. So I think that was now the door where it opened. Because the CEO said, this one, you are not leaving. With all her creativity, this one is not being left behind.
When it came to your stand?
Yes. And it was on Facebook, it was all over. So there was no way these people would leave me behind. And I think that's where the doors now opened. Yes. So that's the first time when I now got to Uganda to start exhibiting. And when I came back, I also, even during the same time now is also where I met now Mr. Alton, who is the MCEA director in Singishu, Micro Small Enterprise Authority. So we had a conversation and I told him my challenges were the space. I need space. He told me we have a center at ICDC, center at Ilula. Why don't you go and have a look at it and see whether it could be a good fit for you? I don't know. I'm like, I don't have machines, but I will go and look. Because my machines, they didn't have machines, so I was depending on the other side. But he opened the doors for me also, because without those guys today I would not be where I am.
Oh, nice.
So that's why I went to look at the center. I looked at it. It had been empty for many years, about 10 years. I told him, Alton, I am done. Yes. So I told Alton, I'm done. I'm coming there. So Alton tells me, when are you reporting? I dozed him for a long time, because I had no machines, really. So I had a product, yes, but I had no machines. But it teaches you something that, don't give up.
It's true.
So I told my mother, I'll carry the sufurias from the house, because I used to also cook from the house. So my mother told me, hey, unabeba kila kitu. I said, napeleka sufuria, I've gotten a place where I'm going, so I'll not be disturbing you guys here again. Because I used to cook a lot at home. All the rotting berries were at home. So it was a heap and heap of tons and tons of berries that used to arrive. And I'm telling you, the car needs to be packed. We need to fit into that space. So it was really a challenging moment. And I remember family, friends would come, they just complain. Nachafua nyumba. It was just headache. But I didn't give up.
So you are doing the production manually?
Manually too, cooking. Then I ran quickly to Kirdi, do the measurement with their gadgets, because they had a gadget, reflectometers, all that. I would do it from there. So I started attending shows. I started going around, just selling in my own small way. But I already had the facility, but I couldn't move there. Yes. But I already been allocated the facility. Until one day I just told myself, you know what, I'm not closing this thing. I have to now think twice of what to do. So I started now thinking of, how about going to the bank loan? I went to the bank. I tried, nothing. So I made a very drastic decision to sell my property at half the price.
Okay, what property now?
In Kitengela, land.
Okay, okay.
One day I had my only land remaining. So I just said, you know what, close your eyes, sell that land. So I went and I sold the land at half the price. And the worst part is I was paid in bits. So that's another thing that I tell people, don't ever sell your land at half the price in bits, because I can't tell you today where the money went. Yes.
So now you wanted this money now to set up this factory.
Yes.
For production.
I know I wanted that man to buy now to set it.
The machines and everything.
So I had to, but I was given in piecemeal, so it didn't even help. Because even to buy even those machines required 400,000, nearly 2 million. It was just very expensive. So it didn't serve the purpose. And today I can tell you, I lost land, and today I don't know, I don't have land, but I don't even have that money. So it was a hard time. So the next time I said, you know what, and previously before I talked, when I just left Nation, I sold my car. That's what also helped me now. After I came back and I couldn't get a salary, the only option I had was to sell the car. So I sold the car. So that is also some money that helped my kids to go to school. Yes, even my kids to go to school.
Okay.
And I sold my car at a throwaway price. So anybody that day would think I was crazy. A car that would have gone for $1 million, I sold it for 600. It was desperation anyway. But that's what.
So you have this space.
Yes,
now
I have
setting
space,
up this factory.
Exactly. So along the way now is when I was working. I just went around supermarkets and asked myself, so how much do you need to have to stock? How much you need to stock? So I needed to understand the quantities of what it takes to actually stock a product in the supermarket. So I did try Transmart to tell them to stock my product, and they were telling me you need to have KEM certifications, KRAs, which I had, KRAs, which I didn't have that time.
Oh, you didn't have KRA that time.
Yeah. So they told me all the intricacies that I needed. So I actually went and complied with all that, and then I got the fresh food fast entering into Transmart. Then later he told me, later 2 products. The day you're ready, you just bring. But now when I look at the quantities of what is required, I'm like, hey, I don't have that kind of money. So I have nobody to look at. So I tried friends asking for money. Nobody wants to hear your story. Yes. So one day when I was walking in that road of, what is it called, Eldoret Polytechnic around there, I see this shop, a friend of mine now, who is now the current director. So the director of the company. He was distributing products for Peptan. He was a distributor. And we've had a good family relationship with them, so I knew them very well. So I walked into his shop and I went right there. So they had all the things for Peptan. So I imagined, now one day I'll be like this. So big castles already, I already built all that to him. And then I told him, what if you come and we be partner and you do the distribution and all this stuff? So he said, no problem. What does it take? I said, you need to bring money. He said, I don't have the money. I told him, what do you have? He said, I have the connections, I have the contacts, I have clients. I told him, okay, you're hired. The next minute he shut his thing and he moved in. He didn't know he's moving into a bad territory where it has all the dramas. So it's manufacturing. Nobody has ever, I have no history, I have no experience, nothing.
This is your second employee after
this
your
house.
Exactly.
So I knew nothing about manufacturing. So here I am, I have sold to him everything. He's believed in it. I don't even have those products. I tell him we are now taking it to the shelves. So he agreed and came. So he became a director. So I offloaded my shares to him, telling him here is the shares. So he's the one now in charge of marketing and strategy. So I gave him that portfolio.
So what was he bringing on board?
The connections, the market. He's very good with market. He has connections. He already was in the industry.
That's what you saw in him.
I saw him. I said, this is it. I don't need anything else. I need him because he already had all those. He'd been doing fast-moving products, so he knew. He knew all the connections. He knew all the supermarkets. It was not hard for him to get into this supermarket. So next I told him, now we need to put this in the supermarket. He said, fine. So where do we start? We have no money. So again, I brought someone who has no money, but he has all the networks.
The connection.
Yeah. So he told me, no, don't worry. We'll look for a friend of ours who has some money, and we can sell the idea to him. I will buy. I said, he will buy an idea with nothing. He told me, no, just go and explain to him the dreams that you have. Those dreams are the ones that will make this guy give us the money.
Now
we went and
pitch this
yes,
idea.
we went and pitched to the guy. We had nothing. Just pitching a dream.
You had only confidence.
Exactly.
And the idea.
He's going, I'm going to export it. I sold myself like never before. He agreed. I said, okay, I'm game. I'm coming. What is my share? I said, I'm giving you half. So we split the shares, and I told them, fine, I'm ready to take the ship to the next level. I'm not going to let this thing die. So that's how basically I have the three of us. The other guy manages the farm, our nuclear farm, and the other person,
Marketing.
the director, does marketing and networking for us to get into whatever, and also does strategy for us. So for me now, it gave me time to now go back and now start becoming a professional business person. So I've gone back to school again in terms of doing courses. It gave me more
Relating to
time,
lesson.
yes, relating to business, how to run a business, how to connect the dots together. So all these things now started coming in place. Now when I had these two people on board.
Just to pick up something, there are a lot of people who have businesses, but they fear letting it out. Because there's some, you had a brilliant idea, and now you're considering having a partner, having an investor who is coming in, and somebody talked about better have 10% of 10 billion rather than having 100% of 1,000.
That's exactly what I was toiling with that thing at the time of discussing the issue of shareholding, because I was like, so somebody told me, why should you give somebody you don't even know? You know, I was like, it's not about, it's what they are bringing to the table. So I think sometimes look at what people are bringing to the table. It's not about the money. It can come with the money, but it might not have. You can have, if the money person had come and I didn't have this person, I don't think I would be where I am today. So it's just good to look at people who, what is it they're bringing to the table. You don't really have to have the money. Even just somebody coming in saying, I've been in the manufacturing sector for 20 years, I have the experience. That was enough to have brought somebody on board automatically if I had met someone like that. But I didn't meet those kind of people. I just met people who I could easily, tell them my stories under the table, and hoping that they would just, buy my idea. And they bought. They bought. Actually, there was nothing, but they believed in me. They believed in what I was telling you. My own family also could not even believe in my idea. You can imagine, even your own family, you have pitched to them, they look at you, you enter meetings, you tell them, and then they end up just dismissing your story. So you go, you cry under the bed, but you tell yourself, you know what, maybe there's a reason why God wants you to get other people, not them.
But here comes a stranger.
And then strangers come. Then I used to ask, why are strangers believing in my idea? But I think it's been designed in such a way that those are the people who take you to the next step.
Okay.
It hasn't been easy also onboarding other people. When you try to onboard other investors, they look at you and just, what are you selling us? If you're selling us nothing, it's just completely almost there's nothing in this company. But there's a vision. There's a vision for this company, and there are dreams that are driving this company. And we are where we are because of the beliefs that I believe in, and we work very well. We've never, it was a perfect, partnership that I got myself into. Okay. Yes.
Just in a nutshell, because we have a lot of young people who wish to pitch an idea. They have brilliant ideas. Just in 2 points or 3 points, what is it that makes you think an idea can be very lucrative to an investor?
Let me tell
2
you.
points in brief.
In brief, first and foremost, I think for a business, first of all, you really have to understand what problem you're solving. Majority of people come to do business because they want to make money. I mean, that is the starting point of your failure. When you come to business, don't ever think about money. Come think of a problem that you want to solve. For me, the problem was, how do I empower my community at home? So I was looking at a project that would empower them. So I didn't think much of how much sacrifice it meant for me to be able to help them. So in the end, they were them that I was thinking about. And I said, let me build this thing for them, not for me. Because me, I know I was just a vessel that was just coming to put it for them, put it together, and then hand over to the community and let them be the beneficiaries. So that as they are benefiting, I'm also benefiting. So basically, for people, if your ideas, right now, I think we are in an era where when I meet my friends, they tell me, the guys in business, they tell me, you guys are in a very better position compared to our times. The lady of Mess Food, for example, is a good friend of mine. She's also my mentor. Whenever I'm stuck, I talk to her a lot. So she tells me we have a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of trainings. There's a lot of capacity building for MSMEs. And there are so many, even nowadays I'm in almost I think about 6 currently that are running. I'm part of those trainings. And I'm always encouraging people. I think business is like going back to school. For me, I had no knowledge completely. So even the mistakes that I did of wasting money, of investing in things that I didn't need to do at that particular time, is because I didn't have that knowledge. But what I've accepted now is to allow myself to be out of the company. So I'm not like full-time there. So we've created systems that enables it to work together. So we have a very a team that is in Nairobi that works in my sales team. They're the ones who are doing all the marketing on the other side. Then my director here is the one who like manages and coordinates with them, ensuring that our products are in the market on time. So I think as a business person, first is get good partnership. Get good partners. It's hard to work alone sometimes. There are people who've done business on their own, but it's good to start alone so that you get to somewhere. Because if you start with people, you will fail. I think if I started with other people, I would have failed definitely. Because already when you're starting business with people, there's a lot of different mindset. The other people will think that, this one is using this other one. So there's always that struggles. So I would encourage people first to start their dream, put it together first.
Get to know what you want.
Yes, exactly. Then now present it to someone. When you've already solidified
Packaged it.
You have already done it, you have already identified what you want to do, and then now invite people to come and take it to the next level.
Okay.
Because for you now, you've done level 1. Idea
Yeah.
stage is done. So you want to go now to the seed stage now where you move to the next stage.
Okay.
So there's a lot of opportunity right now in terms of, every time I look around, I just see ideas. Ideas are there. There are a lot of opportunities. And the easiest way to look for an opportunity is to hear anyone complaining. If you hear any complaint somewhere, somebody is making some complaint, that is where there's a business.
Find a problem.
Find a problem. That already tells you, yes. The bigger the problem, people complaining, the bigger the opportunity. Exactly.
Thank you. Yes. So, let's talk about some few, because our time is much spent. I understand that you also talked a lot about borrowing money, talk about debt financing. Now, what are the lessons that you've learned all through about finances? Because it comes with a lot of lessons to where you are currently.
That's true. I'm telling you, the mistakes that are there is because you go to a bank and you don't even know what you're asking for. I think for me, when I first got into a bank, I went knowing we were stuck. We've been listed into supermarkets. We don't have capital. So the only thing that we thought about is I told my director, give us your car loan, your logbook, we go and take a loan. So we went, took a loan. I'm telling you, that was the worst mistake that we ever did. Because first of all, how are you even going to service it? We didn't even know how we're going to pay this thing. But we believed once we are stocked there, we will basically get money to repay it. It's just all an imagination. There were no paperwork to show whether we could have that potential. So the bank was also very quick to give you loans. So banks are very fast to give you loans. So me always say, step down fast and identify, first of all, whether you need that loan or not. At this point when you're starting, I think for me, I went for some trainings. Actually, that's what I'm saying. I'm encouraging people to go for those trainings. If you hear there's any MSME training on financials or capacity, anything that is going to help you improve your business, enroll. I enrolled, and I was part of an organization called TechnoServe, a NFP program. They had a training on financial pitching and all that stuff. They told us about they invited banks to talk about the different opportunity products that they have. And I was amazed. I'm like, you mean it exists in these banks? They said yes. I'm like, which one is that one? They said, then they told me the best one, it depends on what you want. So I realized there's something called invoice discounting. So I told them, invoice discounting. So they told me, yeah, the bank where you are in already have. So I told them that's the bank, that's Coop Bank. I told them, I've never had. And they are the ones who gave me the other loan, which almost finished us. In fact, if anything, we were almost auctioned. The car almost went. Yes, they had nabbed our car. We could pay that loan.
Reason being, you didn't have the reason of borrowing.
You didn't. And then I'm like, shit, we didn't even need to borrow this money. We even ran away from that bank and went to another bank, trying to run away from a problem instead of going back to tackle that problem. So we did migrate to another bank, but later, recently, we told ourselves, you know what, I think we need to go back to our bank and explain to them what our plans are and our challenges, and ask for this invoice discounting stuff.
Okay.
Because we already have invoices from the neighbors, so that already gave us a chance to actually sell products through them. So we already had the invoices. So like, what stops us from? And they already have a deal with neighbors. So we spoke to them. They said, "There's no problem. Bring the invoices."
So they gave you money.
They gave us money. So
we have two instances here. The first time you borrowed money without knowing where to invest. The second time you're borrowing, knowing where to invest. That's
and then we put our money in the wrong places. In fact, I know we borrowed and we paid salaries. We were behind salaries, so we went pay. So that means all the money is gone. So I've come to realize that when you're borrowing money, I think the 3 key areas you need to focus on is things that will grow your business.
Okay.
Invest money where your staff will grow. Like client acquisition. If growing a client adds more money. I've also discovered the critical success factors of your business. Let's say to improve on machinery, things that will add value and make you money. But going to do other issues, it actually collapses people. So I've learned now that even at the point of borrowing, I just don't borrow. I borrow knowing it is to do what? Will it improve my sales? If it's going to improve my business, then we have reason to take. But we cannot now borrow and start going to buy a car. No, we don't. So we are very cautious nowadays on how we spend our monies. We now know all our monies must go into something that grows the company.
Okay.
So we have grown now over time using invoice discounting. We are now preparing ourselves now to get into another level where we want to get into investors, pitching to investors to give us now bigger monies that we can be able to grow the company. Yeah. So we are now preparing ourselves in that. I'm going through a session with some organizations. It will take us about 6 months just to prepare myself now to go and pitch. I pitched before, but I had no documentation. But now I'm going to pitch now with proper documentation, proper knowledge, proper
support.
I'm knowing where I want to invest. Yeah.
Okay.
So we've also changed our model a lot. Our model has changed. We were working a lot with farmers. There was a lot of challenges in terms of quality. So we had a lot of rejects. So we changed the whole model. We are now have our nuclear farms. We've selected 2 nuclear farms where we are now perfecting the art of production and quality. And we are looking at now, aggregating it from the farms as opposed to, doing it from the factory. Okay. So the part for the fresh we're now aggregating from the farms, and we are hoping by next year, we're preparing ourselves now in terms of export for next year.
Okay.
So we hope by 2025 we should be escorting ourselves to the airport to go and export our fast foods.
Yeah.
Yes, once we have the code, yes.
Okay.
I think basically that is how the journey has been in terms of financials. Financials is something that is very important for a business, but don't take loans. I mean, it really don't. So sometimes you think you need loan, you need money. It's not money even that you need. Maybe it's something else that you needed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So number 1 is always learn about finance.
Yes. Take yourself to school.
Number 2, have a reason why you're borrowing.
Exactly. Have a reason. And
How is your capacity currently?
I think we've grown. We are unable to service the market at the moment because we've scaled down because there was a problem with quality. So we suspended some of our farmers because the quality issue became a big crisis for us. It's a new crop. Nobody has ever done it at scale. So we are now remodeling the whole thing, allowing us first to do the nuclear farms, perfecting it. Then we shall bring on board farmers in October to come back again and continue now with the new model and the new ways of doing things differently, because we don't want a scenario where we're getting too much rejects and we're all losing, them and us. It also affects our cash flows. So it has also made us even have some challenges in terms of financial working capital for the company. So we are now really tight in terms of streamlining systems and streamlining things so that farmers can benefit. In the end, this thing was for the farmers. It was not for us. So it's them that I have a dream for, and that's why I'm now restructuring all these things. In terms of capacity building, we have also now partnered with CALRO. CALRO is CALRO Agricultural Research Authority and RVVTI Institute, where it's a model we want to explore of students who are doing agriculture, extension and food science are being trained by CALRO, and then I'm attaching them to the farms. So currently I have students on the farms who are already attached, and they are working hand in hand with CALRO. So we do physical classes and they do online classes and they do the practicals at the shamba. They also have a shamba in the school. So all this, we are actually trying to make this product improve on the quality of the product, yes. And we're also doing a lot of research in terms of introducing new varieties that we can be able to sell locally and also export.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Viola.
Yes.
Just to wrap up in a few, I think we can just respond to a question that we are getting here from one of our viewers, and he's asking Ms. Viola, how does he stay ahead of the challenges, and especially what he or she is mentioning here is the challenges to do with weather.
I think that's a very good question, because this year we've been hit. We were hit hard by the reason why even we're not able to currently certify the market. We have a very big gap in terms of the supplies, because when the rains came, it came with its own mass. I mean, it was a lot of rainfall. So we didn't think much it would affect, but I'm telling you, our fruits just went down. It could not ripen, it could not produce. So it cut us off. But I think nature is it's something you can't control. So what we are trying to do now is we've launched some two farms at Oljorok and Kwale. So we're working with Calro to run the trials for us at Oljorok and at their centers at Oljorok and Kwale, so that when there's this kind of scenarios where we have off seasons also, we can be able also to survive on the other side. So it's just a pilot right now. We want to see how the seasons are, and when the weather changes, does it affect those regions? So if it doesn't, then we can be able to scale on those regions so that we have a product that is available continuously through the market. We're also testing varieties. There are certain varieties that are hardy. They don't get affected so much by climate change. So this is also a fruit that is very hardy, so it doesn't get affected a lot by climate change. Yeah. So even when the suns are the heat is too much, it still survives.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. Now, as we prepare also to have a parting shot from you, do you regret resigning?
Oh, that's the hardest question. I even forgot about it. I even forgot about Nation. I have no regrets at all. I think I'm glad that I went through that path of working for that company, because today I am where I am because of them. All this knowledge that I have came from them. It came from them. So I'm a grateful person for that, for having gone through that company and having worked for them. And I have no regrets. I'm happy that I'm achieving my dream. I'm seeing my dream coming. It's taken time, but you have to give it time also to grow, so that the whole thing can now become what I envisioned.
So we can say you are living your dream.
So I think today I can say I'm happy. I'm able to wake up and smile. I'm able to wake up. And I'm happy that people are recognizing us now. When you hear people telling you, hey, you're doing well, then you know you're something that you're doing. Yes.
How is your typical day looking like?
My day starts at 4 a.m.
Oh.
Yes, nice. I wake up at 4. That's the only time that I have time to do my work. So do assignments and so be able to do planning for the next day. So from there, I spend most of the time doing online classes. So I'm either in classes, I'm either in sessions, attending sessions. I also visit the factory. I'm also visiting now the farms. We do farms on Mondays and Thursdays, so I'm always now at the farm, because we are now actually focusing more on production and quality. So my day basically ends at 5, but it's a very tedious day, but I try nowadays to go home early by 5. Yes.
Thank you. Just as you prepare to have a parting shot, let me just go through to comments that we've received from a number of them, our viewers. Abraham Cape is telling us a very inspiring and encouraging story. Another one is Joylene Chepto mentioning that, good job, our CEO, proud of you, keep soaring. Priska Chemtoy is saying, I've learned so much from the show. Amazing. Charity Kigen, a funny one here. Gooseberry ni fruit gani in our home language. I think you mentioned at some point. Viola. Viola's journey is incredible. I saw her grow through her journey. Congratulations to your resilience. This is Halton. Another viewer, this is Mercy Kimale. We celebrate you, Viola. We are proud of you. These are quite inspiring story.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, just we are here with the CEO of Gooseberry Delight Limited. Your parting shot to the young people who are coming into business, and also people who want to venture into agribusiness for that matter.
Okay. I think first I just want, first of all, to encourage everybody first. Starting a business is not easy, but I just want to encourage everybody first to take this opportunity. That this is a product that is a Kenyan product made from home ground here in Eldoret, Wasingishu. So if you have, I want to encourage you to go and try it. We have the hot and sweet sauce, we have the chili, we have the jam, we have the juice, we have the dried. All these products are available at Naivas and also partly available at Chandarana. So these are new products in the market and they are very nutritious. So I'm encouraging everybody to go, because when you buy these products, you're actually supporting our company, you're supporting the farmers. So you're actually building another ecosystem that tomorrow will be a success. So my parting shots to people who are thinking about business, I think it's a very lonely journey. Yeah, so there's a lot of ups and downs. I can just encourage you to come. I mean, it's inborn. I always tell somebody, the people who are born to go through what I'm going through, and the people who are born to work for others. So we are not all equal. So there are people who can work for others and make and succeed. Because even today, the team that I have, they have been with me from the time I started, and I'm still with them. So it tells you that this is a team that, these are people who really, put the things together. So I can't do it by myself. So if you want to do business, please look for a very strong team. Have an idea of a problem that you want to solve, and start small. I've seen people coming with pension to start businesses, and they all, just goes highway. I also lost money when I sold my land. I don't know where money went to, but I've learned that just start from scratch. Start it small, build it, take time, understand it, change the models. Models are changing. From the time I started, it's not the same, so it has changed all through. Along the way, you lose friends, so that one, be ready. Don't think your friends are there. When you have no money, nobody wants to listen to your stories. But I think, as a business person, share your stories, share your challenges. If you don't talk, nobody will ever help you. I have friends who, when they're always in that drama of going through hell, we talk among each other. So they tell me, and something, I'm going through this, maybe I have a solution, and that's why sometimes we provide solutions, because we've been there, or we see it differently. Somebody who is in an office will not see what we are seeing. So until you are in this shoe is when you'll understand what it means to be in business, and to understand how a business runs. So karibuni, I think there's an opportunity a lot for the young guys. I think there's a lot of money out there that is being given out for people to start businesses. So take the opportunity, take this chance, and get started. I mean, I don't see why people should start looking for jobs. There are no more jobs, actually. Create these jobs, create these businesses so that you can employ others. Today I have employed 14 people, and each farmer, like the satellite farm, one of it already has 10 people they have employed. So imagine those are jobs that are being created. But just a small enterprise that we are in today. And I'm hoping maybe in the next 5 years, we should be able to have a team of about 50 people. So I'm encouraging people to come out and start. I think agriculture, there's a lot of opportunity in agriculture. Yes. So the doors are open. I'm also available if somebody wants to get ideas or to learn, or to supported in connection on areas you want. Please feel free, talk to me. I'm available.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. And she just mentioned that she has close to 1 million ideas that she can share. So our viewers, if you can get time, please try to find Miss Viola for her to share the even one idea. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so grateful to have this show tonight, and also thank you so much, Miss Viola, for creating time for the CEO show. It was very insightful and very informative, and I'm sure we could have done even more than 2 hours, but since our time is much spent, I think we need to create part B of the same. And ensure that always buy Kenya, build Kenya. Exactly. That's very important. Obviously, thank you for having this conversation tonight. Ensure that you drop a comment, and also if you've learned something from the story of the CEO of Gooseberry Delight Limited, please drop in the comment section so that we can even be engaging as you go by the lessons that you've learned, even the successes story that we've learned from financials and everything, so that as we go forward, we can always be learning together. Thank you for tonight. I'm sure that you've learned something. And for me, basically, I've learned a quote from her that the bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity. This has been the CEO show, and I was your host, Dan. Until next week, same time, same place, it is a wrap. Thank you for watching.
entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show.